I'd like to start off with a special treat, and this is called Halvah. It's usually found in Mediterranean countries, and the primary ingredient is tahini. It's a paste that consists of sesame oil and sesame seeds. And I made this up first just to show you what it looks like, and then we'll get into the whole process in a few minutes. So here it is. It's made in a block, and then it's cut in small 1-inch pieces, and it has a delicious, delicious taste. So you can see what this looks like, and then we'll get started. I have parchment paper and a loaf pan, and I'm going to press it in as best I can. And because it's easier to work with if you tape it, I have pieces of masking tape. You don't have to be fussy, just so long as you get the paper to stay around the side, and you've got a nice hollow indentation in the loaf pan. That should do, because it's very low when you put the ingredients and pour it in this pan. That should do it. The first step is to prepare the walnuts, and you want to make sure that you crush them pretty well. You don't want them too fine, but you don't want them in big chunks. And this seems to be okay. So I'm going to take a 1/2 cup of maple syrup, and I'm going to add it to a medium-sized pan, and I'm going to let it come to a boil, and then it's going to boil vigorously for 2 to 3 minutes. Then when that's done, I'm going to remove it from the stove, and I'm going to add the tahini. Now it just so happens that when you get a jar of tahini, it has about 1 inch of oil on the top. Skim it off, and that will give you a stronger paste, and you'll find that the halvah will solidify better. So now we have just a little bit more to go, and then we're going to stir this and add in the nuts, which are here, and I'm going to move it right here because we want to get away from the high heat. Okay, now I'm going to remove it from the stove, add in the tahini, and the nuts, and vigorously I will stir this until it comes out to be a thick paste. See how it's thickening? Oh, it looks great. This plastic spoon is perfect. See how it didn't take long to get nice and thick. And you can take any type of spatula and spread it all around the loaf pan. And this has to freeze for at least 3 hours. This comes in different flavors. I know when I was a kid, marble was a real big hit, marble halvah. And we used to go down to the local market and we used to cut big chunks and buy them that way. Okay, so here it is. And this is the last step, putting it in the freezer and being patient. It's been 3 hours, a little longer, and I have the halvah frozen, and I'll show you how it looks when I take it out of the container. And first, I'll rip off the parchment paper, and it came out very nice, and it's like a hard brick there. And I'll see if I can cut a few slices now. I already have a dish of halvah that I made during the week. It's very good. Very, very good. It slices beautifully. And you can always cut off a little bit on the edges. It's a good thing to taste. Oh my goodness gracious. Just delicious. And I have a little paper doily so that you can see the contrast of the halvah. And I'll show you one piece up close and see how the crushed walnuts are all embedded in the tahini, and it can be refrigerated from here on in, and very, very simple treat. I know I loved it as a child in my childhood. My husband feels the same, and you can get the tahini in your local supermarket, so feel free to try the recipe. And if you can't find it on my website, you can always email me at glomez@verizon.net or call the studio. And now we're going to move into another treat that I would like to share with you on this show. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you a fun treat for the whole family. Chocolate Whoopie pies. And I'm going to make them small enough so you can eat a lot of little ones. The first thing you need to do is add sugar and an egg and some either buttery spread or margarine to the top. And now you want to blend it all together. That looks good. I add the flour and make sure you get most of it down into the bowl before adding the cocoa. And now put in your cocoa. And if it struggles to get down, you can always take a spoon and help it along. Make sure you move the ingredients closer to the center of the strainer so not too much leaks over onto the board. And there's only 2 more ingredients left. That's your salt and your baking soda. So take a teaspoon of salt and 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Mix it all together. I'm going to start off by adding the dry ingredients a little at a time so it doesn't splash all over the place, and I keep it on low. And once you have most of it in there, you can add a little bit of milk, and then it won't fly around the sides of the bowl. Then continue to add the rest of the dry ingredients. And go slowly, leave it on low. It'll mix in. And take the rest of your milk, sprinkle it around till it absorbs the dry ingredients, and add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And there you have your chocolate Whoopie pie batter. Looks good. Smooth. And as you can see, it works up very nicely. There you have it. I've decided to use a small cookie scoop, and I find that that's a good size for these Whoopie pies. And look at how they come out very nice, a nice even shape. And just make sure that you keep them a few inches apart. And what I'm doing is wiping off the tops. It's enough batter just in the scoop. This is so easy. And naturally, you have your choice with either a marshmallow fluff filling, or what I'm going to show you, which is a beautiful whipped cream filling. And they make a lot, if you notice. This is only half the batter, and I have 12 on the mat. It goes in a 350-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes, and I do it exactly 9 minutes. They're ready. They came out great, but you really need to let them cool. And this is going in. I squeezed a few more in because it's the end of the batter. I just want to show you how easy it is to remove them. You've got to hold on to the mat if you use a mat. You can also use parchment paper, but they come out very nicely. And just make sure that they're completely cooled. I just want to show you how easy it is to wipe off the baking mat when you make either cookies or, like I just did, the whoopie pies. It is so easy. I use my little smiley face sponge and it cleans it right off. It's a great, easy way to bake and do cleanup. Wow, second batch is out. I've selected a couple of whoopie pie shells, and as you see, they're all inverted, ready to be filled. And now I'm using, as I said, my large beater, and I'm adding cold whipping cream. Even if you can, you should chill the bowl, which would be wonderful too. But I have it here, and gradually I'm going to put it on high, and I'm adding 3 tablespoons of confectioner sugar. It's already starting to thicken. I've got it up to an 8 and then to a 10. There it is. I just want you to know that this beater with whipped cream is being saved for my best friend, the cameraman. And I'm going to leave it over here for him to enjoy. To show you how easy it is, take a heaping tablespoon or 2, spread it around, and on this one I'm making sure to get it on the outside edges. Apply a little bit of pressure, and then take your frosting knife and spread right around. Now this one came out a lot easier, you see? That is excellent. I want to show you how easy it is also to just spread it with your finger if you find it a little hard using the frosting spreader. Just take this, put it on, press it, and take with your finger just gently around and take off the excess, and you have just as nice an edge as you would if you were going to use the spreader. Now you see here I have, including the one on the table here, I have a baker's dozen, and I just like to cut it open to show you what it's like. And if you can notice that I am cutting it on wax paper, because I find that when it first comes out, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick to the dish, and this way it will chill and not stick. Now just look at the way the filling is even, and it looks so delicious. Now if you prefer a marshmallow filling, I'll have that recipe on my site as well. But I hope you enjoy this sweet treat. It is absolutely delicious. Until next time, bon appetit.